Hello, Danny Duchamp, Shitty Honda Fit, and beer. If you are watching this, that means I have not failed to live up to my schedule on the very first day of the schedule, so yay me! Now, if you didn't watch my last video, then you won't know what schedule I'm talking about, so I'll link that somewhere around here. But if you did watch it, that means that you'll be somewhat clued in to what this video is going to be about. Now, I have been arguing a lot with people on Twitter. I know, shock, horror. And I will be until Twitter dies in, I don't know, a week? It's on the ropes. But anyway, in the meantime, I've been arguing on Twitter, and a lot of it has been politics lately, where I sort of sit politically. Am I a liberal, a conservative, a progressive, a libertarian? And libertarian is one that I have sort of gravitated towards more than the other ones. I definitely wouldn't say that I'm a libertarian. There are some government programs that what one would consider very unlibertarian that I am somewhat in support of. But I definitely think that we need a lot more liberty. And so, in the interest of showing that, I have put together a list of laws that shouldn't be laws. Basically, this video is going to be 5 things that I think should not be illegal. I am going to be doing a series of videos, hopefully. I mean, if this video is very positively received, that means you guys liked it, and I'll show you more. If it's very negatively received, that means you guys disagreed with it, and I kind of want to argue it out a bit more. So, either of those, I will make more. If it's somewhere in the middle, I'll probably get bored and give up on this series. But, yeah. I'm going to be doing, hopefully, a series on this, and each one will have a little bit of a theme. This one is going to have a bit of a theme about free speech. And before I tell you what the first one is, I want to first of all say that I'm only going to deal with laws that are in place in some first world democracy. I don't care if it's against the law in Guatemala to pick up sticks. I don't care. I don't know what the laws are in third world countries. We all agree those governments are shit. Get a decent government together, and I'll talk about you. There's an incentive for you, Guatemala. So, without further ado, I've said that a lot in my videos. Without further ado, here is my first free speech related law. Denying the Holocaust. Why is it illegal to deny the Holocaust? It is illegal to deny the Holocaust, by the way, in several European countries, maybe some other countries, including Australia, depending on how you interpret their laws. But definitely in some European countries, sure as fucking Germany. It is illegal to believe, or espouse the belief, that the Holocaust did not happen as described by history books, essentially. I think most people agree with me at this point, are saying, yeah, that's a shitty law. If you vaguely believe in free speech, you can instantly see that that is the most anti-free speech law imaginable. Fuck that law. But there are also people who will currently be disagreeing with me. It's true. There are people who will be saying, and I think that I can present the best argument that they have, is it maybe is an anti-free speech position, but there are some forms of speech that are worth restricting when it is in order to prevent some truly horrendous event. The Holocaust is a lesson that we all have to learn from. If we are unable to see that event and understand how awful it was, how horrendous what was done there was, then we're bound to repeat it. We need to be able to all focus on that horrifying thing and say, that's something that we're not going to do again. We will take extraordinary lengths to prevent it, even reducing to some modicum of an extent free speech. That is the argument that they would have, at best. Let me explain why it's fucking bullshit. Yeah. The Holocaust was fucking horrendous. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. A couple of people would. But some people would say that it didn't happen. Those ideas are to some extent Nazi sympathizing ideas, are they not? Yeah, that's why you're against them. Then why don't you want them refuted? That's what you're doing. You're stopping them from being refuted. If you don't allow a position to be expressed, then you are not allowing the best form of that position to be defeated. You need to allow people to express bad ideas, because if you don't, then there's going to be an undercurrent of people who secretly believe these things but are unable to express them. And then there are often ideas that, if expressed, they would see shot down and quickly back away from, like it stinks. Like it does. If you want to stop the Nazis or something like that from happening again, allow people to come out in support of it, let alone just denying of the atrocities that they committed, actually in support of it. In order to stop people from committing those mistakes again. If you don't allow ideas to be expressed fully, then you're not going to allow the reasoning behind them to be refuted. I think we're on the same page now. I think that maybe I've still lost a few, but most people will be agreeing with me at this point. Okay. Now, many of you would say, oh, okay, but it's still, in some cases, acceptable to stop the expression of hatred against people. We shouldn't espouse positions like very racist positions, like kill all black people or something. Just, there are positions that we just shouldn't allow when they're espousing some truly hateful type of speech. My next one is hate speech. Hate speech is something that is illegal in a lot of countries to varying degrees. And Americans, even the United States, to some extent. I'm going to link to the Wikipedia article about hate speech below, and look at the section on the United States. It's better than most countries, but it's not all too encouraging. The idea is that if something actually poses a danger to people, if someone is actually inciting violent hatred against some people, then that is worth stopping free speech for. That is a point where we can no longer allow it. The fuck is wrong with you? No, we stop the violence, we don't stop the speech. Again, in order to refute these ideas, you need to allow them to be fully expressed. If someone is saying, kill all blacks, you have to allow them to say it so that they don't secretly think it and then try to carry it out without fucking telling anyone. And especially so that you can tell them why the fuck they are wrong. I know that most people don't want to believe this, but most people are reasonable. That's the most controversial opinion that I have. I understand this. But most people will listen to reason. They will. That reason works. If you argue with someone and you show why they're wrong, I'm not saying that they're going to just instantly go, you sir, have defeated me with your superior argumentation. But it'll stick in their mind, and they'll go, next time they're thinking about their position, they will remember the criticism that you had and where they felt uncomfortable because they were unable to refute it. So it does help to argue about these things. And unless you allow these ideas to be expressed fully, you cannot fully refute them. Hate speech laws are bullshit. Stop violence. Make the people actually committing the violence, send those people to jail. Sure. But not the people who are speaking. Even if it is inciting the violence, they're not committing it. So allow the ideas to be expressed, only punish the behavior. Now, even if you're with me at this point, which a lot of people won't be, but I think most of my viewership would be, I think that I have attracted very libertarian-leaning people, which is cool. But I think that a lot of people will be off board at this point. no, we shouldn't allow people to say kill all the blacks. But I think that the remainder will have a problem when I start to say that even when it's directed at one individual, it's something that shouldn't be illegal. Most people think that slander and defamation, telling damaging lies about a person, is something that is really worth making illegal. Well, you can guess what the next one is. Defamation. Okay, this is getting ridiculous, Danny. How can you possibly be against laws against defamation? Telling lies that harm a specific person, you've got to be against that. Fucking no. Why are those lies believed? I'll let you think about that for a second. Okay, time's up. Because of defamation and slander laws. If it was not the law that you had to tell the truth about people, if that lie that you're telling would be harmful to them economically or physically, then people would not put so much stock into the shitty things that are said about some people. If you want to prevent these sorts of lies from going on, making them illegal will stop some of them. The ones that are reported, the ones that can be definitely shown to be lies. If you want to prevent all of that sort of injustice from having an effect, make slander and defamation legal so that when people hear something, they expect it to be backed up. And also, giving people that requirement of having to really think about stuff, critically analyze it, I think is going to encourage in them that critical faculty. Something that I think most people would agree is something we should encourage in people. So defamation laws are bullshit too. Well, what kind of speech could possibly be left here? Surely, after those first three, I don't know if I said I'm doing 5. I'm doing 5, by the way. After those first 3, surely you're done at this point. There's nothing else that you could defend. Every kind of speech is supported now. You're basically a libertarian, unless it has something to do with individual property rights. I mean, false advertising should be illegal because that's part of property rights. It's defending property rights. Libertarians are okay with the government defending property rights, so false advertising is fine, and that's my next one. Ooh, it's getting kind of dark in here, isn't it? Do I look dark and mysterious? Okay, is that better? I don't know, maybe now I just look red. Whatever. So yeah, false advertising is something else that I'm about to come out against. The laws against false advertising, that is, in case that wasn't obvious. So I think that most of you will see how the points I made with defamation apply here. Most specifically, the idea that if you allow false advertising or defamation in the previous point, then you're going to force people to use their own critical faculties, and that's inherently a good thing. Like, even if you miss the libertarian point, then you see that you're promoting the idea of people using their critical faculties. But let's not ignore the libertarian point. Libertarians essentially say that the government should do little more than defending property rights. That the idea that you own a thing and that thing is yours to do with what you wish, and that concept is pretty much all that libertarians should defend. In order to defend that, though, you need to divide up what people own. That's going to require some understanding about the exchanging of goods. So you're going to have some system where I can say, I have this thing, I want your thing, you want my thing. How about we trade? And there has to be an understanding that has an implicit contract. That's required for libertarian positions too. There has to be some, at least implicit form of contract law. You're going to have to agree that there's a contract implicitly there when I say, here's my thing, give me your thing. You can't run away with both things. That is required for a libertarian position. So let's think about that for a second. Every single part of the false advertising laws is already in there. You don't need the law against false advertising, because the only times when false advertising is really a problem in a punishable way is when I say I'm going to give you a thing, and you say you're going to give me a thing, we trade things, and it secretly turns out that my thing wasn't the thing that I said it was. Well, then I've violated our contract. That, insofar as that goes, sure, that should be illegal, but that's not what the laws about false advertising say. They actually outlaw the advertising itself. They don't just give the person who you just voided your contract with the ability to sue you. They actually outlaw the advertising itself, which is totally unnecessary. If you don't sell any, it shouldn't be illegal, but under current false advertising laws, it would be. So, okay, every part of false advertising that is valid, that is worth defending, is already illegal with just basic ideas of property rights. Now, presumably, we're done, right? See, there was 5. So, we're not. But now, presumably, for the purposes of rhetoric, we're done. The only ideas that you shouldn't be able to express are ideas that someone else owns. My next one is copyright infringement. Yeah, copyright infringement should be totally legal. All right, so people who are in favor of free speech and libertarians in general, or at least somewhat pro-libertarian, will agree that the people saying you can't draw Muhammad are way the fuck out of line, that we shouldn't have a law about that. What if, just bear with me, the Muslims had copywritten Muhammad? Then should it be illegal to draw Muhammad? Mohammed? I don't know actually how to say it. Muhammad? Obviously, most people are going to say, no, that's ridiculous, they can copyright it all they want. Well, if I reproduce the series of zeros and ones that make up the Red Hot Chili Peppers' Other Side, then I am committing copyright infringement unless I have purchased that CD. Or downloaded it on iTunes, more likely. Yeah. So, creating the likeness of Muhammad, illegal. Fucked up, right? Creating the series of zeros and ones that make up Other Side, illegal. Totally reasonable. What? If you believe that there should only be, if you're a libertarian, basically, if you believe that the government should just be defending property rights, why would you allow them to enforce a system of intellectual property? When I take, the reason the government should defend property rights, by the way, is when I take something from you, you no longer have that thing, and therefore the government needs to defend your property rights so that you cannot lose that thing just because I decide that I'm going to take it and somehow have the ability to. When I copy your song, if I download it, my computer is just copying the series of zeros and ones from your version. That is not taking anything from you. You still have all those zeros and ones. I copied them. I did not take them from you. Maybe that means that you can't make money out of it now, because you were going to sell me it too fucking bad. We don't organize laws so that you can make money. We organize the laws to defend people's individual liberty, and then if you can make money, go do it in the way that you can within those laws. We're not rearranging the laws, or arranging in the first place, as the case happens to be at this point, in order to allow you to make money. Now, I'm sure that I've lost the vast majority of you on the way here. I'm at least in that last one, I think most people are pretty much in favor of intellectual property, saying that we should be able to own ideas, patents, be able to own specific series of zeros and ones, copyright. But I think I've made as much of an argument as I think that needs to be made about each of those. If you disagree, that's why I make these. Tell me in the comments, especially the copyright one. I would really like to hear someone defend that. It seems to be a very commonly defended position that I find totally indefensible. Anyway, like I said, I plan to make a series of these videos, so if you liked it, thumbs up. If you hated it, thumbs down. And also tell me why you hated it in the comments so that we can get some disagreement going. I've realized that position is actually kind of selfish. The idea that I really am doing these videos to get disagreement. I'm just trying to strengthen my own position by getting differences of opinion yelled at me by random people on the internet. I guess that is kind of selfish, but if you're going to look at the selfless part of it, one, hopefully the discussion will convince some other people of the truth about certain things, if I'm right about things, then, and also, hopefully it'll provide an example to people of someone being wrong and that being okay. So, yeah. Anyway, that is my 5 things. I will hopefully do another one. For now, I can't think of a good way to close this, so just get the fuck out of my Honda Fit.